Vincent Canellis, one of my favorite young athletes. He's a gymnast. His father was a Division I gymnast out in Ohio. His mother is the Olympic champion, Dominique Moceanu, right? I want you to see a video that he sent me.
Uncle Chael, Vincent Canellis here again. As a 13-year-old athlete, I need to know how name, image, and likeness would have changed your approach to your collegiate wrestling career. In addition, I understand that social media platforms are an instrumental part of athletes' careers nowadays. But there is a part of me that wants to dedicate every hour of my life to training, evolving, and gaining every competitive advantage that I can, without squandering time building a brand. I'm in two heads right now, Lord Chael, and I'd appreciate your thoughts.
All right, so everybody knows what he's talking about. This is an aspiring college athlete. When he talks about the NIL, this is name, image, likeness. It's a very new rule through the NCAA, where now it allows athletes to be paid not to do the sport, which is a whole other conversation, but not to do the sport, but they can go and find outside brands who would like to sponsor them. It's a very rare opportunity. And Vincent asking me if I would have done my career different. I mean, that would have really been exciting because I understand what your point is. You're talking about, Vincent, you're talking about you want to put all of your time into training, not into the marketing side of it. You're understanding the importance to the marketing, to getting your name out there, to what's going on with social media, to the competitiveness within that field, not just how the judges are judging the way you stuck your landing. You now have a whole nother competition going on for notoriety, and you're right. And I get where there is a part of you that thinks the true athlete, the true dedicated athlete is going to spend that time on the vault, on the horse, on the apparatus. I understand that. And you almost feel emboldened by it. You almost look at this person looking for attention and spending their time in the bathroom doing their hair. I'm out here doing the splits. I understand that. You must find a way to do both. We don't make the rules, Vincent. We don't make the rules about how many times you got to go around the rings. We don't make the rules that you must salute. We didn't make this rule, but this is still the reality. It is a competition, and just like the judges are going to hold up a number for you, people judging people, there's nothing more unfair in life than when people judge people. Welcome to gymnastics. But just like that, there's numbers on social media too, and it gets competitive. And there takes a little bit of a creativeness. And you can do it in a real lazy way. You can really dedicate and spend that time, or you can do it quickly. And if you're getting better results and you're more interesting, that's going to be okay too. But we didn't make the rules. We just got to play with them. You just got to play with them by your time. Imagine there was a 14-year-old girl in your mother's time in Romania, in Russia, in China. She was awesome. She doesn't get to be the best in the world because she was born at the same time as your mom, right? I mean, it's one of those tough spots. But that person doesn't, there's no excuse. This is just what we're playing by. And you asked me about my own career. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have done well. I would have wanted to. I would have embraced that. I had something back in my collegiate time. It was just a .com, but websites were coming out. I was in high school, young Vincent. The first time something came out and I heard the term, I had the foggiest idea what it was called email. I was in high school. So, I mean, when I get into college, right, this isn't very long after. The world was just a very different place. But I was, for what media I could get, for what little things I could do, I was embracing the black hat. That was the side I thought was cool. And what very limited opportunities we had in wrestling for media. Like, just by example, we had something called the Register Guard. Now, the Register Guard wasn't our school paper. It was one bigger, which was our city's paper. So you had all the people in the town that happened to grab it. It's very small, but it's the biggest opportunity that you had. And I I cut a promo with those guys. I brought the football team into it. And I had some real truth. And the coach, oh my, he was disgusted. He couldn't believe that I did it. Wrestling's over here losing money. Football pays for everything. You thought you'd attack football, and the media told those guys, don't ever speak to him again. Hold me off of media. I said, oh no, just go with it. You're not understanding. I got a plan here. I showed up to wrestling practice one day. We were in the postseason, getting ready to go to the NCAA. So now you have a real small group. The guys whose seasons came to an end, first off, it's hard to force them in. I mean, they got some motivation. That hurts when you're not part of that. It's kind of hard to force them in. Got a real small group getting ready. We got the media coming one day. I show up early and I've got face paint. This is in 1998. I come into the locker room early. I went and got these face paint. I painted my whole face up. The media's coming in. They're bringing in the cameras. Oh, they were irritated with me. The media did not see me in that. I was sent right back to watch that, and nobody was laughing. Nobody was interested. Nobody wanted to know what it even represented. And it was one of those spots, and I had salacious things that did slip through. Before I was banned, before they pulled me, I had salacious things. Vincent, listen to what I said. It's a wrestling match, right? Score differential. You're trying to run up the score. I told them the bank closes at 5. I get a 5-point lead on the opponent. I'm all done trying to score. They hated that. You're shutting your offense down. Nobody's ever spoke those words. And I had that expression, the bank closes at 5. That's funny by me. They hated this. I was known for pinning guys, and I told the media I had a blanket policy. If anybody goes to their back, they don't get up. That's a simple statement. This was salacious. I was a bad sport. I was a bad sport that I would speak things like that. In wrestling, we have an all-American field, and it's top 8. And it's just an extremely tough and competitive sport, and you understand that. Because that's what you come from as well. That takes a lot of hard work. And the potential credit and thanks exists. But boy, it exists for few, and you're willing to dedicate to it anyway. Football, okay, we couldn't get anybody to come to our wrestling matches. We wrestled in front of 200 people, and we were so grateful for those 200 people. That was extremely normal. But you would go to a football game, you couldn't get a ticket in. And if the football team, okay, they don't have to be top 8. They don't have to be number 1 to get recognition. Hell, they don't have to be number 10. They don't have to be number 20. Top 25. Sports Illustrated and ESPN would list these guys the top 25. There is nothing, and I know you can relate to this, there's nothing in the world that if you're top 25, you're getting credit for. Now, this isn't just top 25. This is within America because it's football. Oh, by the way, within a specific division, which is Division 1, if you can get the media to print it, it becomes true. Like, you don't go out and earn this. It's not a point system. You don't go battle it out with anybody. If you can get the media to do a top 25 and put you on there, your coach is going to get a bonus for Christmas. He's going to get a contract extension. His assistants are going to be celebrated. The dudes that were on the team that didn't even earn top 25, they got named somewhere in the top 25. They're going to be cutting the line at the local clubs. And I will tell you, I'm jealous, for sure. That creates a massive jealousy for me. And I told the media this. I said, we got to be the top 8 in a competitive field 1 time a year, and you get 4 cracks at it. The football will get a bonus if somebody writes down their top 25. They pulled me from media. Now, I'm telling you a lot of my old story, but Vince, that's what I thought you were asking me. I thought maybe you were asking me for some of these, and I don't say it because there was anything wrong or the decision makers were bad. I'm sharing it was a very different time. There was a man prior to my time named Elvis Presley. Your grandparents could tell you about him, but Elvis was protested. He wasn't banned, but they tried to ban him. And what Elvis would do that was so salacious is while he was on stage, in the course of a 2-hour performance, at some point, he would move his hips. That's it. But at that time in the 70s, that was the most salacious thing that had ever been done. And I don't attempt to compare myself to Elvis. I just compare, to give you an example, that when I said the bank closes at 5, when I said we got to be top 8 and football's just got to be written down in a top 25, I said, man, there's nothing in the world that I would do that I wouldn't be top 25. They banned me. They pulled him. They said he's no good. He's no good for this. I dealt with a little bit of that in the pros. I had an executive director in Nevada, the fight capital of the world, not want to license me. Now, I had never used profanity, ever. But what I said was unsportsmanlike. He said this. He's and kids are looking at this. And all I'm doing is saying I want to fight a guy. That's it. That's all I'm doing in the fight business. That knucklehead got fired. He's long gone. But you can see the problem with this. You can see where things can change. And I'm sharing this with you because Elvis might not have liked it. They were banning him for moving the hips. I didn't like that the very small exposure that I could get, I had taken from me because I said something that could be offensive to football. That was the point. It was 100% the point. It was the reason people would read it. It was the reason people would remember it. It was the reason people would share it. Because your little coveted, protected football team had somebody challenge the fact that you should be celebrated for being written down in the top 25. Make a perfectly fair point. Not a big deal. Not the hill that I want to die on. But I'm trying to use that to tie in for you. There is going to be a piece of you that is going to feel emboldened by not doing media. That's the true dedication, the truest form of the sport. There's going to be a part of that belief that's right, that is honorable, and that gets left behind. You're a handsome guy, you're very well spoken. You got a camera, you got sales, you got accessibility, and you got parents that people, right? You don't know that. That's just mom and dad. Your parents are royalty in certain walks of life, and these are things to use. These are benefits you have, and you should not be ashamed of that. You should not be embarrassed. You should not steer away from it. You should go for it, young man.